Hi, my name is Dalton Marsh, and I'm going to tell Dalton's story, some of it. I woke up on Friday morning. Dalton normally wakes up before us and would let the dogs out. I heard the dogs whining, wanting out. And of course, Dalton was asleep, and I yelled at him, and he didn't wake up. So I went over and checked on him, and Dalton was hot with a fever. So we got up, and we took him on to the hospital. He had a 104-degree temperature. They give him some antibiotics and give him a few IVs, and we come back home. Gets any worse, bring him back. Well, Saturday morning we got up. We expected him to be a little better. We had plans for the day and come in and check on him again. He was around 105-degree temperature. We took him back to the hospital. Well, I decided they would keep him, and he had an abscess. Well, Sunday they decided they would cut the abscess out. That's fine. Go ahead. Well, that all took place about 1 o'clock Sunday. By 5 or 6, he was coming back around, complaining with his belly hurting, his chest hurting. Monday morning, he had gotten to where he couldn't breathe. Doctor comes in about 7:30 and tells us that we're sending him to Children's. Now, that's all his explanation to me was, is we're sending him to Children's. So we sat there a little bit longer, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I kept waiting for an ambulance crew to walk in. Kept thinking, boy, this is taking a long time for an ambulance. The flight crew walks in, and when I seen the flight crew, it hit me. This is bad. So of course, I fibbed to his mama, told her the ambulance was just in the area, or the helicopter was just in the area, that it wasn't as bad as it was, but she needed to leave work. So he took off. I took off and followed. When I got upstairs at Children's to the 7th floor, Dalton was already in a room. They were fixing to sedate him. I was the last person to talk to Dalton. That hurt me more. I had to force my way in the room. And I got there, and he calmed down a little bit when he seen me, and all he could say is, "Daddy, hold my hand." I went out of the room and prayed. We'd come down to, we've got to put him on this machine. And we're going to go the easiest way with it to begin with. Dalton gets the first cannula in his neck. It comes in. It'll pull and push through one tube. This is to help his heart pump and his lungs breathe. Well, they put that one in about 3 hours, 4 hours, come to us and say this ain't working. We've got to do another tube. Okay, so we all go back in the room and not really say our goodbyes, but say our good wishes to him. We had Mile and pray. We had every doctor, nurse, student that was in the room to be quiet and pray. So we got that one, and the lead doctor had told me that she wanted at least 70% of that machine doing the work for Dalton, pumping for his heart, breathing for his lungs. And I asked her, I said, well, did you get what you wanted? She said, yeah, we've got about 85 to 90%, which is good. Well, is he going to make it? I never could get a straightforward answer from a doctor. I'd always get, well, we'll see if he makes it the next 2 hours. We'll see if he makes it through the night, through the day. Okay. I can go with that. So he let the machine work for him for a week. They had decided he was healthy enough or strong enough that they could start weaning him off some of it. Okay. So they take him off the ECMO machine. He's still on the oscillator for his lungs. They had a lung doctor come in and put a soapy-like solution in his lungs where his lungs were collapsed and wouldn't air back up. And they really didn't know if that was going to work. But 2 hours after they give him that, his breathing had doubled back to where it was supposed to be.
I'm Tony. I'm Dalton's mom. I was at work the day that they decided to fly Dalton to Children's Hospital. By the time I got there, Dalton was already asleep. I had talked to him on the phone earlier, and he said, "I love you, Mom, and I'll see you when you get here." I knew he was in the right place. I just knew we had to get him better. Watching the doctors, just something would happen and we'd have a room full of doctors, and of course us not knowing what was going on with him was hard. I was mad. I couldn't understand how he could be playing one day and then in this position the next day. I sat there for 2 weeks just watching it, watching the numbers on the screens. The day he came off ECMO, he opened his eyes and looked around. They finally gave him a bath after 2 weeks, so they washed his hair and all the blood and stuff was gone, so that was a great day. I was there the day he came off the ventilator, and the first thing he done was looked over and smiled at all of us. Those were the days that I prayed for when he was in a coma, when he was on all the machines hooked up. Was one day he was going to wake up and he was going to ask for something.
Everybody's asked what caused this problem. Well, there's actually 2 things that caused this problem. One was an underlying disease that Dalton has that we didn't know about. It's called CGD. A chronic granulomatous disease. That's almost right, I guess. But Dalton got a bacteria that this won't let his body fight off. It's called Chromobacterium valaceum. This is a very rare bacteria. A healthy person will fight it off. Been 150 cases in the world of this. Well, some of my happiest days was him saying something. Of course, it sounded like a 90-year-old man crackling. But just watching him be able to move again and eat, and that's a God's miracle. He got up. They got him to stand up. That was a God's miracle. Because honestly, the 14 days he was on the machine, I had feelings that he was going on. I fought with it. I fought with God. Why would you take an 11-year-old boy who was healthy one day and make him so sick the next? Everything happens for a reason. It's brought my family closer.
Slowly improving, and him and his sister's fighting, and as of right now, that's the greatest sound in the world, is to hear them 2 fight and fuss over something, even if it's just the littlest, stupidest thing that you wouldn't even think about. But he's here, and through a lot of prayer and continuing praying that he gets it better, I have my baby back.